So, I want to talk about period hygiene and how it has changed over the course of your cycle and how it is now. So, I am going to some hot yoga tonight. So, me and a friend are going for the first time. It's the first time for them, and I haven't been in a long time. And I love yoga, I love movement. And I'm just really starting to get back into my body, which is going to be a whole other conversation that we will continue to have. But I'm on day 2 of my cycle. And I'm not sure how things are in your guys' cycle, but they're quite heavy. So it makes me think back to when I first got my period. So I was 13. Well, I was like a classic 13, got a really light period and was so embarrassed. Didn't want to talk about it with my mom, but I told my mom so I could get like my pads and stuff. And yeah, so she gave me pads, and I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed by the crinkling sound that people knew I had my period. Like period shame, huge, 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 huge in my family, and body shame, which we can talk about another time. But I want to talk about how your path has changed. My path has changed. So it was funny because, you know, go a few years on and um I'm 15 and I'm in high school, and I have to get up and go to the bathroom, and I come and I sit back down and I have my period and I have a pad on, and one of the boys in the class make a comment about smell. And I knew it was me, and he probably knew it was me, and I was mortified. So we know what happens is blood starts to dry or get exposed to air, it starts to smell. And I was devastated. Now, I had been like I said, that embarrassment of changing my pad was huge. And there's been really no talk about this, which goes back to the most recent recording I did. But But what have you. After that moment, I became just like mortified about the smell. Like I thought maybe only I could smell it, but everybody else could smell it. And here I am, I'm the smelly person. So now I am absolutely embarrassed. So I start layering my pads. And so then I can just do one quick pull off and I have a fresh pad underneath. Well, it left sticky residue, it was quite uncomfortable. And so I started putting like toilet paper down. So at least that was like the thing that would create some barrier. And oddly enough, that's something that there's many layers of which I've continued to use toilet paper. And let's not throw shade on any of us who use toilet paper to help with moisture, to, deal with a tight situation that we're dealing with. But anyway, so I was just so embarrassed still. There's still so much shame. And then once I started having sex, and I had sex young, um, then I started to be like, okay, I'd like to try a tampon. And it took me a while to figure it out. And I joined the swim team, and I really wanted to for the swim team as well, because I didn't want to have to like deal with any of that. I'd also started birth control. So I was in high school when that all happened. And, and yeah, so then I started using tampons, and I would use tampons during the day and pads at night. And during that in between time, I'd usually just use like a lighter tampon or a panty liner or some toilet paper in case there was any leakage or just for the light bleeding. And so that was kind of like a lot of my life up until, I think 2019. It was just pre COVID. Um, I'd been thinking about wanting to use period underwear at night instead of like using all these pads, like just wanting to reduce my imprint. And so my friend had suggested a pair, so I got a pair, and they were like kind of bulky, but it was great. They were great for at night. And then I think I got a second pair of a different brand, and it was great. So now I had 2 pairs, right? But I still only had 2 pairs, and I had a cycle. So, but it was quite a light cycle, or a clotty cycle, I guess I could say. But coming back to the present, so then during COVID, I bought more. So now I have three. So then I had three brands, but I really like Bam Body. FYI, I don't know if you guys have tried any. I wasn't a fan of NYX. It was when they first came out. There was another European one that I tried, which was great, but it was quite kind of bulky. And then the Bam Body has been my favorite so far. They're a little snug when you put on a little bit of weight, but they are the most comfortable that I've found. But since I've bought some more to try them out. Um, so about 2 years ago, I started getting vaginal dryness. And I didn't know it was vaginal dryness at the time. But what I noticed was my vagina seemed to be a little bit more irritated by using a tampon. So I tried to stop using it as much and only use it when I needed. But it was really hard on those like super flow times, right? Because it's just like we know what that's like. The super flow is wild. Like you're just bleeding through tampons and you gotta have to like change everything. And maybe you do, maybe you don't know that experience. But that's where it was helpful to have the period underwear and change things for that first day or two. So I started getting vaginal dryness, and it started getting to be actually really problematic, where I could no longer use a tampon. And that's kind of where I'm at today. Now, I've started some hormone replacement therapy, which has brought some hydration back into my vagina, which is helpful, but it's not the same as it used to be. So I recognize using tampons just aren't for my body anymore. And so I've been usually just using my period underwear, which I've tried. Hanes, actually, I really enjoy Hanes. It's really affordable. It's not like you might have to change it through the day, FYI, but um, but I really like them. And then I tried this other brand. I think it was called like I don't know, it was Monday or Tuesday or strawberry, something like that, and it was the worst. Do not recommend. Um, I digress again. So, so here I am about to go to some hot yoga, and I have a bit of a heavier flow. And as much as it's a heavy flow, it's just a very liquidy flow. And I think we all know what that's like. And so I'm like, okay, I'll definitely be wearing my period underwear, but I'm going to put in a tampon, and I'm actually really hesitant. I feel like I've really done my best to take care of my vagina using more natural like lubricants when having sex. I have to be really mindful of that when having sex. Now that my vagina is much more sensitive, and um, and so I wonder what that's been like for you guys. Like, I feel like this is an area that we don't talk a lot about, or maybe we're talking a lot more about it. But when I talk about kind of how my period started, although I knew I was going to get my period and I knew the things I could use, I didn't really know how to use it, how often to change it, what was expected, like what wasn't. Like I just didn't know. So again, there's these layers of like information that wasn't given, even in health class. Like that blows my mind. How can you be, oh, okay, in my health class, we watched Degrassi High and Degrassi Junior High is what we watched. And then our teacher asked if we had any questions. Now, the sex ed component was like a couple weeks and there was a question box. And at that time, I didn't have my period. And I was asking about vaginal discharge. I had this white kind of colored stuff coming out, and I don't know what it is. And the teacher was a male teacher and never addressed it. And I'm like, what's wrong with my body? And I'm not going to tell my friends that this is happening. Like, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? I'm not going to talk to my mom about it. Who am I going to talk to about it? And I never could find anything about it. I thought there was something wrong with me. Not that there's something wrong with me, but I thought my body was weird. Maybe it was different, or there was something wrong with me. Um, but we have this period of time where everything is new and no one's really giving us like the nitty-gritty info. So, vaginal atrophy is a thing. Like, holy crap, they have not talked about vaginal atrophy enough to women as we age. Like, what the hell? I've always heard about vaginal dryness, and I'm like, vaginal dryness? Like, what is this? Like, I don't have vaginal dryness. I don't need lubrication. Like, who are those people? Okay, who are these people? It's not just vaginal dryness. Like, why aren't we putting actual words to it? Why aren't we speaking the truth? Like, yes, vaginal dryness can happen due to medications, due to health situations, and due to aging as we enter into perimenopause. And it should be totally normalized. But there should be more context behind it because I didn't even understand what vaginal dryness meant because it was never really an issue for me. Now, if I was taking decongestants or allergy medicine that was like very drying for my body, I could notice a little bit more dryness. But it wasn't like it never hindered me wanting to use a tampon. It was just like the type of tampon, like the what have you, like the absorbency. So, but here I am, feeling anxious about using a tampon. And like, oh my gosh, is it going to be enough? Is it not going to be enough? Like we only just started getting commercials that are using the red color instead of blue for our freaking period. And I don't see a lot of commercials, but when I was at home a few weeks back, my parents watch regular TV, and so there was a commercial, and it was about a period, and they talked about like, the when you stand up and it gushes. And I'm just like, yes, this is what we need to talk about, the things that happen in our body. And we call it feminine hygiene. We call it period hygiene. And I hate that word hygiene. Like it's like as if it's about like cleanliness or something. Maybe I need to look up that definition. It feels technical, but how do we care for our bodies and take care of our vulvas and vaginas as we move through this phase? So it's interesting, um, what I've noticed in my body as it's began to atrophy. And I would say that was probably one of the hardest parts, um, was starting to have a whole bunch of vaginal problems because of the dryness. So I'll talk more about that in another post. But when I think of what I want to talk about right now is just this reality that it's changed. Like my body has changed enough for me to change how I address it. And, some of you may have never used tampons. Maybe people use the cup. I tried the cup and it was just like really challenging to get out. And, but if the nub was too long and it would like jab, and I couldn't afford to like try all these different ones. So I bought two, neither of them worked. Um, I wish they would have worked for me. That would have been amazing. So, there's different things like, I was like, I want less chemicals. So I tried to use more natural ones. And oddly enough, um, the natural stuff didn't absorb as well, which is wild. You'd think it'd be much more absorbable, but again, who the heck knows what we're putting in our bodies half the time. I digress. So I've been really grateful that, the last couple of years I've been just trying to really listen to what my body says and what it needs, and it doesn't need and want anything up it. But then I hit this moment where I'm like, oh, I'm about to go into do yoga and my flow is still quite liquidy. And it's going to be warm, which could increase the blood flow. And I'm hesitating. I'm hesitating on what to do with the right thing to do for my body. How do I listen to my body? How do I respect my body? What it needs, but how do I still maintain a level of autonomy? Is that the right autonomy from my period? Is that I don't know what the right words are. a sense of freedom with my body. So what I'm able to do, even though I don't, I've never wanted my period to limit me. And I mean, maybe that's sometimes a part of our problem or challenge with entering into this new phase is our body saying we can't keep doing what you've been doing. It's not working anymore. We gotta change something. I'm not happy. So I'm really been trying to honor that and listen to that. And even as I'm speaking it, I'm like, okay, Alex, you're gonna put on your like super duper underwear. I have some that are like super front to back, super absorbent, but they're a little more diaper feeling. But I think that might be the best one for me tonight and just accept that I'm going to be liquidy inside. It feels extra moist and wet, but I'll be sweating regardless. My body will be sweating into it. Because sometimes when I've gone to the gym and I've been like on the elliptical, and just like sweating, but I'm still wearing my period underwear, and it's just like after it starts to just you just feel like you're wet, like you're kind of wearing a diaper. It's wild that we go through this. And and I know there's a layer of well, Alex, you're at the beginning of your moon time. You should be resting. And and I agree because I'm going to listen to my body as I move through the yoga. If there's something that's too much, I'm not going to. I'm totally okay with that. But my body, I've been like finally getting energy back the last 6 months, and I'm doing so much to take care and nourish my body through different types of movement. And yoga has been a big part of my life in the past. So I feel like this is going to be nourishing. We'll see. I'm going to listen strongly to what my body has to say as we're moving through it. Um, yeah, and it's a warm, this one's their warm flow. So, so we'll see. Maybe I'll have a warm flow. I'll have my warm flow too. It's perfect. Anyhow, I wanted to get on and share this while it was alive within me. And I'm just really curious, what does that all look like for you? Um, yeah, how has things changed for you as you're navigating your cycle, the comings and goings of the cycle, but particularly your period hygiene? Leave a note in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Take a follow if you are interested in kind of following for more.